Once again, alright, it's Sleaze. The Warmind story 4 on a difficulty of normal level 7, so just below the level of the character as far as difficulty at this point. As before with the other installments here, playing this by myself. And once again in the lobby, here's another one of these jump ships that you can go out and purchase.
We should probably find it first
for your own ego stroking in lobby. Alright, so story 4 here. This was one of my favorites, this one and 5, because they were a little bit longer. Required a little bit more. So once again, spawn in the story mission, kind of an open world environment, a lot of random enemies and stuff, and what do? You get the Sparrow up and running as soon as fucking possible, and you're out of there. Okay, so here again, as before, we're going to see this little glitch where I got to thrust through this kind of weird stalled area. Forgotten Shores here. This is the one where you cruise through the canyon and get out where these old relic ships are kind of grounded out there. So, you know, the Sparrows, you know, I would use those in a lot of situations, and later on, if we ever get around to the strike and uploading the strike, you'll actually see me use the Sparrow in order to rescue people that are not really close to me. So I'm definitely a proponent of any time I needed to get somewhere in a hurry, it's just immediately spawn the Sparrow and get out of dodge. Case in point here. Let's get the story stuff going. So what we're trying to do is we're going to try to get on top of this ship, and there's some kind of communication tower or something that we've got to get the ghost to scan in order to push the story forward. So you've got this ship here, and then you also have a second ship that's to the left of this position that both have these radio tower devices that need to be scanned with the ghost in order to push the story. So here, didn't normally come up the backside of this boat here. Usually would just kind of jump in there and handle this when I was playing with more than one player. It was easier just to kind of wreck shop here, but I decided for the first time to struggle with getting up at the backside of the ship here and seeing if we can just clear what's in our way so that we can go to this objective and release the ghost to complete the scan in order to push ourselves in an accelerated way forward. So you know, headshots, I don't know if anybody else noticed this, but I found that on guys like that were kind of lower level semi-bosses, early on in the beta, when you would headshot those guys, you'd pick up big gold scores, precision scores. I found that later, especially the last day or two of the beta, that I would hit
let's check the other one.
A lot of those guys in the same fashion in which I thought I was hitting them earlier. But for some reason those gold scores weren't showing up, so I don't know if that was a problem or if it's a matter of where the shot actually hits, because it's hard to tell. I mean, some of the targets are pretty far away, and the shots get off pretty quick, so it may warrant some slow motion study to see what's going on and what's considered one of those precise hits and what is not. But yeah, so if anybody else saw that or came up on it, let me know.
Let's check it out.
It'd be interesting to know if anybody else experienced that. So again, get the scan going. You know, where does the ghost say to go? There's the objective way off in the distance. So let's get the Sparrow cooking and let's get the hell out of there. And here, you could engage, but why? Let's just take a little damage. You'll heal, and just get on with it. Let's just move on to get to the next group of enemies that need to be destroyed. So Sparrow, you know, don't be afraid to use it at any point to see if you can get to someplace a lot quicker, because it certainly is faster. So again, this stupid auto rifle with the high rate of fire continues here, the pain. The sniper is the same. I don't know if there's any of the play with the heavy machine gun here, the Sargon-C, or not. I know in the very last regular story part that was available, story 5, the last array, there'll be definitely some of the Sargon-C play. These are these vandals that are stealth or cloaked or whatever, man. If you got caught up way too close with these guys, it was trouble. But you saw what happened there. Backed up to a certain point, and there's a threshold in the beta that I found that the enemies wouldn't go past. So if you had just come up a staircase and you're getting crowded, or you're just overwhelmed and your health is shit, you could always back down a staircase or just keep backing up. And the enemies don't disappear or reset like you might think in some games. They actually just, whoever was left is left, whatever damage they had, they had. And you just regroup, and especially when you're playing by yourself on a harder difficulty, and just get back in there. So you could prevent resets, prevent going down, simply by backing up, because there was just a certain point at which you would no longer be pursued. You could regain your health, check weapons and ammo, and then head back in and see what you could do. So that's something else you just saw there, some silly sliding around. It's a nice feature, which is part of that package with just the control of the character as far as jump anything and being able to kind of slide and shoot and do all kinds of crazy shit.
Tapped into something in the back of the room.
With the character is, as stated many times before, part of the appeal of the game. So here again, it's one of those situations where I'm kind of backing up. I got a lot of these stealth or cloaked vandals that are coming in, and if they get in there on you, their melee is brutal. They fuck you up quick. So trying to keep my distance, backing up to where that staircase was as a fall safe in case I get in trouble, or health is bad, or just being swarmed. You could always back up and kind of regroup. Golden gun here, 33%, 1 for 3 here. I don't know how I missed the second guy, but shit happens. Definitely testament to earlier statements about luck, not precision. Solo, you would find that the missions would take longer, a little bit longer, because you'd have to be more cautious, because you don't have, you can't get down, you can't die. So, when you found that you were overwhelmed, when you found that health was really bad, or health was bad and you were overwhelmed at the same time, you'd have to back up, regroup, take a little longer in order to clear a stage or get the next wave coming. So, I think you'll see a little bit more of that here in Story 4, the Warmind, and then Story 5, Last Array. The Last Array, that 5th story one, I got done reviewing that a day or so ago. I finally really did wreck shop on that, started pulling out the Sargon-C, and so there'll be some just damage control when it comes to that final story part. Here, yeah, just playing around with the AI. In some cases, that's one of the things that I always enjoy is how silly can you make the AI look? How dumb can you make the developer look? So in that case, kind of hanging back, dancing around, just goofing off. Well, yeah, but also you're trying to see, well, when the enemies are on the map, are they going to come to where you are? Are they going to funnel in like idiots so that you could just mow them down? Or like this AI, in some cases, are they going to go to a position and hold a position and kind of run a pattern within that position? And they shift and all that stuff, but I mean, that's part of what the beta was about for me, was kind of seeing, well, what are these NPCs like? What's the AI like? Do they pursue? Can you reach a point where they'll no longer chase you? What happens when you come back? Does it reset? Or are things as they were? And in this case, it's always things are as they were. So, at this part, for this story part, definitely liked using this room in order to get cover, get some walls, but also have options for kind of funneling them in, watching these 3 different entry points, and also having the fail-safe of the stairs behind me and to the left in order to hightail it out of there if things get just too crazy when you're by yourself. So, you know, the auto rifle, God, it was just really a picture not getting my hands on a decent upgradable, but it'll be interesting to see how things fly with the Vanguard Armory. Is that part of what that's about? Is, you know, giving you some weapons to be able to deal with higher difficulties, if that's what you want to do. So it's going to be interesting to see how they tune this. What happens with the armor? Apparently the ranking will be a lot slower than it was in the beta. So it'll be interesting to see how long it takes to kind of level up and then figure out this whole modes of light in order to kind of continue leveling. But apparently between the regular rank and the modes of light, it's a max level of 30, but the rate should be a lot slower than the beta. So it'll be interesting to see how it is, you know, in comparison with the beta, because apparently the beta was relatively accelerated to give you a feel for some of the other gear and get people, you know, so Bungie can get their hooks in you. But you know, story 4 here for a solo run, pretty decent challenge, even though it was just 1 level below the character at normal 7. You know, to give you any indication, I think story 5 is at level, it might be at level 8 on the hardest difficulty. And then I think the moon mission, which was only open for a couple hours on that last Saturday or Sunday of the beta, was 1 level above your rank at a level 9. So it was interesting to see how the character deals with difficulties that are lower than you, equal to what you have, and stuff that's above you. And it'll be interesting to see, you know, how much can you play above your head and still be able to wreck shop or survive or get through it, and how much harder is it going to be to do it as a low rank, how much longer is it going to take, because I think that's part of it, is that when your weapons are weak, you know, they still do damage, but they're weak. It takes a while to get through a part, especially if it's 2-player solo, even 3-player sometimes if you're all low ranks. So we'll see. Here's some of this ridiculous automatic fire from this gun, the absurdo rate of fire. Here solo, you know, yeah, you want to be precise, but at the same time, I just wanted to get kind of through this and make sure that I completed it. So if you had to be spammy with the sniper, you had to be spammy. That was just the way that it was. Here's one of those things with the movement, the jump throw. Apparently I either caught myself on fire or somebody threw something that caught me on fire. I wasn't sure really what happened there, but you know, we're gonna get a rush here of a bunch of these dregs, this low level soldier, and some real lead on the target right here, just letting this rifle go. There's a lucky toss. Gotta say, the throwing knife, I was awful with the throwing knife. A little bit better, you'll see in the final kind of regular story mission, story 5, the last array. I got a bunch of these precision hits with the throwing knife, but I would have to admit that I think it's probably mostly luck, and that none of it was intentional. It was either accidentally thrown, or it was just a fire and pray. You know, just no real skill displayed. Just throw it across them fingers and hope that it hits. So alright, story 4 here, the Warmind. We got the last arrays next, so we'll get that one set up here. Story 4, similar to story 3, was nice because no cutscenes, no cinematic stuff really attached to the opening part of the mission or the end of it. So another one of those ones that was grindable, where you can go in and just destroy this, even if it was solo or if you were helping somebody else rank, which I did a few times during the beta. You could really help them chop through one of these missions at this point. So when you were top rank, when you had armor and weapons that were upgradable, and you had completed some of those upgrades, the character was formidable. Even playing solo, you could get through these things without going down. You could get through it without getting killed. So, all right, next one is The Last Array, Story 5. See you then. Thanks.